So hey you guys, I am jumping on right quick because I was asked to kind of go through and start doing some of my favorites. So today I'm going to do my top five or kind of top five palettes with an honorable. No, it's not really an honorable mention. I just feel like this one palette I'm going to include towards the end is just kind of like an accent palette is what I want to call it. And it's a lot of fun to me. And I think, if you are not afraid of color or you're not afraid to just start experimenting with your eye makeup, then that palette is something that I would say add into your collection. So these palettes that I'm going to mention are some of my favorites, and I'm going to tell you why. I tried to steer away from limited edition palettes only because I know that it's going to be hard for you to go out and get those. If that were not the case, I would mention the two Sephora palettes, but I'm not going to showcase those today only because right now it's uncertain if those are limited edition or they're going to be permanent to the store. So that's what I tried to stick to, and I think that's what I did. So when I come back, we'll talk about the first palette. So the first palette that I want to talk about is the Tarteist Pro palette. As you can tell, it is well loved by all of my fingerprints being there. The reason why I like this palette is because I'll put it back and down. The reason why, hold on, I like this palette. I know it kind of looks like, but this is a good palette to have because of the color selection that you can get you can get warm tones, you can do a smoky, you can do a cool, you can do a complete eye look, row by row by row. I like the setup of this palette. I like the flexibility of this palette, and I like the way this palette smells. If you never smelled one of the Tarte palettes, then I would say give it the good old college try. But I like it because to me, you could just being able to do a black, the smoky eye or a brown smoky or a mauve or, even just a plain everyday look. All of that can be done out of this one palette, and that's why I like this palette. The second palette, these are in no particular order. I'm not rating them or anything. These are just, I'm picking them up and we're going for it. So the second palette I really, really enjoy is this Huda Beauty Rose Gold. This is the textured rose gold edition palette. Now, the one thing about this palette is, of course, you can do some rose gold color, some pinks. You can do a smoky. You can do these textured items down here. People were having an issue with using them, but every time I've used them in a look, they have just come off really wonderful. You do have to use your finger, and I do put down a little bit of like a glitter primer to kind of make sure that they don't move throughout the day. But I actually really adore this palette because, like I said, you can get a warm neutral look out of this, but you can also get a smoky. You got a little cool tone in there if you want to do something like that. But also those textured glitters, I guess that's what they're called. Try to see, just rubbing your finger in it is not a lot of payoff, swiping it, but once you kind of like lay it down on top of a base of an eyeshadow, it really gives off a great, so if you're into it, really gives off a great finish to a look. So if you're kind of okay with playing with those textures a little bit, I would say definitely give this a try. So this next palette I'm going to talk about is the Natasha Denona the Star palette. I actually adore this palette because there is so much product in here, and so if you even use this a lot, you could not possibly run out anytime soon. She is probably one of the more expensive palettes I've ever seen, but her shimmers and the color payoff, as you can tell, I have really loved this palette. Every time I use it, I just say to myself, oh, I remember why I really like this palette. I know there's a lot of controversy because she's straight out the gate, but when someone gives you the amount of product that she's giving you and the color payoff, you don't have to work as hard. I kind of think maybe it may be worth a few extra bucks not to have to go through all that trouble. It's not powder, it's not a lot to keep back these shimmers, the kind of ones with the heavier glitters. You do have to I use my finger for most of that kind of stuff anyway. So it's just because you can get a better placement of the product. But and I do use a glitter glue a lot of times just because my inner corner just stays watery. So for me, that's the best way to make a lot of the glitters and the shimmers work on my eye. Okay, so you guys already know I am going to definitely have to mention Juvia's Place. I love her palettes. If you could get your hands on any one of them, I say go for it. She keeps selling out of her palettes, and there's a reason. The pigmentation. I'm just gonna hold up her very last one that she did, which was the Magic by Julius. I use this palette so much I had to just say to myself, take a break, because you keep using the same palette in the tutorials and in my everyday life. But the pan size, the price point, well, I think this palette was what, 30? I don't even know if it was $30, but whatever. But when you swatch these, look at that. Look at that payoff without a lot of work. And it's the same with the mattes in here. They are beautiful. I just adore her work and what she's done for my eyeshadow game. I don't know about nobody else's. I can only tell you about mine. She has kept me inspired and wanting to do these colorful eye looks, and I have no problem obliging obliging her. I think that when she does her combination, she really does take the darker skinned sisters into account, because it just seems like the ease of it, you know, being able to use a lot of these colorful eyeshadows. It's just, she just made me really happy when I'm doing my makeup with one of her palettes. I will continue to support her if I can, if at all possible. I know this is a minority owned business, and I'm all for that. So when she comes out with stuff, I try to stay on it, because I have people that keep asking me, you know, hey, it's not there, because she continually stays sold out, which I am just happy for her, because she deserves it if she's producing this kind of quality of work. And the last palette I'm gonna talk about is, I'm filming at night, so if the light is going in and out, that's why. I'm going to talk about the Urban Decay Moon Dust palette. This is an all glitter palette, but let me tell you why I like this palette. Because it could take your little look, because like earlier, I did a shimmer eye out of the Sephora Pro Color Palette. You know, I'm not going to mention those because I'm not sure if they're limited. They say they're limited, but I hope Sephora doesn't do that. I hope that they will release those palettes and they can become permanent. I know that the warm palette and the colorful palette are sold out on Sephora's website, so I think you have to go in store now to get whatever stock is left. But I really hope they rethink that decision. But anyway, so like I did this look, and then I took my finger. I told you I use my finger a lot of times. And I just went in the center just to add a little bit of spark to my eye, to the eye look I did. And you can do that because they have enough in here. There's a blue. That Galaxy is gorgeous. That would be pretty on a smoky. So would a black smoky at that. And so with this granite. But even to kind of amp up your neutrals, that peachy rose goldy shade, the first two, Spectre and Element, they were bold so well. And on a neutral eye, that what's it called, lithium, that is a gorgeous. They are simply stunning. Just to take your eye look from 0 to 100. So let's just say you did a very neutral eye during the day for work, and you don't have a lot of time to go home and change, but you have something to do that evening. Take your finger, swirl it a little bit in the product, and then just kind of place it on your eye, and it takes you straight to a great night look. So that's really why I love this palette, because it kind of always takes it over the edge just a little bit for me. But I hope that this video was very helpful. So I'm just gonna make sure that I kind of gave you some nuggets of why I like these palettes. Okay, YouTube, that is it for me on my my top favorite palettes. As I said before, This is just what I think of if I were thinking of if I was going to travel or for special occasions. These are the palettes that my kind of go-to palettes when I know I can actually get a gorgeous look done. And of course, on my eyes, I am using the Sephora Pro editorial palette, the colorful one. I everything came out of that except I went in with the Urban Decay Moon Dust palette and added a little bit of the green just in the center, just to kind of amp it up a little bit. But yeah, so like I said, I hope that the Sephora will change their mind and make those palettes permanent. If anyone's listening to me, Sephora. But anyway, let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if any of you all are thinking about getting any of the palettes that I discussed today. I would really be curious to know some of your favorites. So please, in the comment section below, let me know what's up with your palette selection and why you are adoring some of the palettes you're adoring. Maybe I need to add them into my collection. But until the next time, I will see you guys on the next turn. Thanks, YouTube. Bye-bye.